for your customers. Got it. All of those ways for your customers that are looking to connect to you are ways that they are reaching out, and you are likely experiencing most of those in your own businesses, where it's not just people picking up the phone or in some cases coming to your actual storefront to talk to you or to ask questions. They're reaching out across different ways. So again, we're going to talk a little bit about what that means, and specifically the channels, and we're going to kind of land on that for a second, and I'll just take you through the right channel. So when we talk about how customers and how your customers want to engage, there's variation based on the journey, where they are, and these are kind of the larger touch points that I'm sure you're all aware of and using. But you'll see there's a slight shift in how your customers prefer to engage with you as a business, from customer service, that support side of it, email, phone, chat. Those are the biggest channels. That's that your customers really expect you to be present and to be able to provide service on those channels. And if you're not, it's something obviously that you should look to. And then if you think through the forums, Messenger, Twitter, Slack, other channels, also very important. Sales, again, your website is obviously, as like your biggest engagement point, and phone, contact us, forum, chat, self-service is a massive kind of channel and way that your customers want to engage with you. And on the marketing side, again, the website, videos, emails, blogs, all of these places. These are all things that your customers are expecting. So the lesson here is you as a small business owner kind of have to be ready for your customers when they're coming to you. If your customer wants to reach out by carrier pigeon, and that's the majority, that's likely something that you should support. So again, I told you I wasn't going to inundate you with stats, so it kind of just stuck a lot here to kind of give a sense. The presentation will be shared, so you'll have access to all of these. But ultimately, what this does is just paint a picture of and kind of support the points that I've made already about the shift and how customers are looking to engage and communicate with you in a business, and how you should be ready to communicate with them. Your customers want to move between channels. They want to self-serve for simple questions. They don't want to wait on hold. So they would rather message a business than to wait on hold. And they like businesses that they can message. So again, these are just some support points to the previous slide. So what does that kind of all equate to in terms of the expectations for your businesses? What are your customers expecting from you? Well, they're going to come from everywhere. They want real-time connection, and they want you to be on their platform. They want you to be where they are. And that's really what the expectation is. They want it better, they want it faster, and they want more. And as a small business, that's obviously a huge challenge, to be ready 24/7, to be everywhere they are, and to be able to respond in a rapid way, so they're not waiting. So we're going to get into some specific kind of examples or practical examples and what this looks like for you as a small business. I'm going to take you through a user journey here. This is Carla. She's likely searching for a business like yours, or she has a problem that a business like yours solves. So what does she do? Carla goes to Google, and in this case, Carla has a leak. She's looking for a roofer near me. She wants something reliable. And she turns to Google. This, as I'm sure you do in your own lives, this is how your customers kind of start a lot of their journeys. In fact, 90% of customers start their journey here with a search. But Carla has a question. So it's great that she's found a roofer close to her that seems to have great ratings. but she has a question. And from here, this is your opportunity as a business to engage her, to give her the information she needs to answer that question. That's one entry point. Obviously, I'm going to take you through a bunch of different entry points, but having a chat directly from search results is a massive opportunity that most small businesses aren't taking advantage of. These call to actions that are available through Google. Obviously you can call, you can get directions, you can link to websites, but being able to chat and have a conversation with a business, again, automated and or live, Google supports both of those, is a massive opportunity. Beyond Google, these other entry points like Messenger, like Facebook, like SMS, obviously your website, WhatsApp, X, Instagram, Maps. So those are the places that they're discovering your businesses, being ready to have a conversation and engage with them directly from those channels is what your customers are looking to do. I just have a quick video here to kind of shows what that looks like in kind of a few different transactions. So let me just play this. It's just a couple of minutes, so I'll just play this for you. Hopefully you can all see it and or hear it, but it kind of speaks for itself. So you see here an example. These experiences aren't just text; they can be very rich. It's carousels with that are shoppable images. All of that is supported directly from that search result. So now we've gone through the website and we're having that same entry point conversation. Seamlessly handing over to a real person. Again, if we don't want to automate the experience or it's a more complicated transaction, real people in the loop. Again, a rich experience. It's not just text. Here's a mapped example. So obviously that's very Google specific. That's not, I'm not here to kind of, kind of sell Google products or services, but as as an entry point and how your customers are discovering you and how they want to engage is a very relevant entry point that obviously, and this is something that I think a lot of small businesses aren't aware of. They are aware, obviously, that they can, do chat on their websites and they can, do chat, through different channels, but directly from a search result or on maps is something that a lot of small businesses specifically aren't doing. As you saw in that example, there's a good mix, or there's an opportunity, I should say, to automate a lot of those. Or to do live chat. So the examples there, some of them were automated and some of them were with real people. ultimately, really, what you're trying to do is engage, and if that means that you have to, if it's 100% automated, then because you're not available, you're a small business, you're running your shop, you don't have time to respond to people, then automation is the way to go. If you have customer service reps or people available, then live chat is the way to go. This is kind of the next piece that I wanted to spend some time on. So it's great that you're on all these channels, you're able to engage, but what happens when you're not available is meaningful. And the lesson, I guess, from this slide is really about how important speed is to your customers. They don't want to wait. In most cases, this kind of always on 24/7 world means that if they can't get an answer quickly, they're going to move on. What that means is variable, and there's lots of studies around how quickly you need to respond to a lead, to a question, to a potential sale, to a customer service, and it varies by use case and it varies by industry. But in general, if you're not responding in 10 minutes, or you don't set an expectation for when a customer is going to get a response, they're going to move on. And it's the reality of today's consumers. It's obviously a challenge for small business owners. It's a challenge for large businesses as well, to meet this need. But if you're not responding in a timely manner, when a customer reaches out to you, regardless of what channel they reach out to you on, they're going to move on. That is ultimately their biggest frustration when it comes to customer service specifically is waiting. They don't want to wait on hold, or they don't want to wait in general. They also don't want to repeat their information, and again, this one's obvious, but not being able to resolve the issue online leads to frustration. But the waiting on hold piece really speaks to the importance of a speedy resolution or a speedy reply. So, again, what we've established here is, there's a shift. People want 24/7. People want you to be everywhere. People want to, get an accurate response, or they're going to move on. So how does this work for you? How can you make this kind of, this shift, these new customer expectations work for you? And I have a couple of examples here. I'm going to kind of zoom through one of them, and maybe we can come back to it if we have time at the end. But ultimately, I just wanted to kind of set the stage before we jump into that to talk about the opportunity of social. And specifically the Meta platforms, Meta being Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp have a massive user base. You are likely using it to advertise. You are likely using it to, post and hopefully get some organic traffic to your site. You are likely, using it to build community. And in some cases, you may be using it to have conversations. If a customer, reaches out and messages you. But there's a real opportunity for small businesses to drive more than just, kind of a transactional or a customer service kind of wait for a reply, and use it to generate more meaningful business for you, for more meaningful sales. And I can tell you, this point about businesses have had over 600 million chats with Meta platforms per day. This was the first time they've released that metrics in their earnings call. And Mark Zuckerberg is essentially saying with that is, this is the real opportunity for us. Messaging has become the growth opportunity for us. And they're really putting a lot of focus on how businesses like yours can move beyond, advertising on their platforms and really drive sales through messaging. So the example I want to talk about is a company called Hello Sugar. It's a waxing salon. It's a salon. And as you guys have all likely experienced this, so I'm going to try to make it as broad as possible. But it starts with an ad. It starts with a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad. In this case, they're trying to generate leads. And with the way they're trying to generate those leads is they're offering a lead magnet, and their lead magnet is this free wax. And again, you guys have all likely tried this tactic where you're trying to you have an ad, you want the users to engage with it, so you can gather information about that lead. You can sell them your solutions. So you have some kind of a lead magnet that you're using. And so what Hello Sugar did, or what we did with Hello Sugar specifically, is we automated a big portion of the booking flow and the upsell flow that historically they were using real people to do. So when somebody clicked on that claim your free wax, they would collect some information. They would text that user or reach out to them in a different way, get them to book their solution, then try to upsell them to actual paid services. And that whole process was leading to really expensive costs for acquisition. They were getting a lot of leads, but they weren't getting a lot of bookings, so they weren't able to kind of close. So because it took them a while to get back to people, and it was taking people a long time. So we automated that. As soon as we collected the information, our bot kicked in. We sent a message immediately to the lead to book their free wax. Asked a few questions about upsell. So, hey, do you want to add to that? Again, it was an opportunity to generate a few sales. You could schedule everything, directly from that conversation, and the process was done. Hello Sugar saw a 24% increase in the leads to booking ratio. So essentially, the number of leads who actually booked that free wax increased 24%. That led to a decrease in the cost of acquisition for new customers. The process went from a laborious, manual process with, somebody texting or calling, finding a date that worked, trying to kind of upsell the solution that was taking an average of 6 minutes when the user responded, and we got that down to less than 1 minute. So that's an example of how social messaging, again, we push them to an SMS experience, but if you think about, the native messaging on these channels, that experience can live directly within Messenger, within Instagram DMs, wherever you want that to live. So it doesn't have to be, hey, send us a message, we'll respond to you. You can automate a lot of the various flow, appointment booking, quote generation, order lookup, all of those types of things, giving your user the advantage or the ability to do that directly through social channels is the opportunity here. Okay, so preparing for the future. I didn't spend a lot of time kind of talking about technology here, but as I'm sure you've all encountered, or at least heard of the ChatGPT hype, generative AI is driving a whole new shift in your customer expectations. Customers now, and again, ChatGPT has been with us for just over a year. People are playing around with it. Businesses are trying to understand how it impacts them. But customers, are experiencing the power of generative AI and what are called large language models. And it's not just it's not just the ChatGPT example. Google Bard they have an example. X is launching a generative AI that's powered by these large language models. So this new technological kind of phenomenon or development is going to increase your expectations, the expectations of customers even further. So not only are you going to have to be everywhere and be ready, 24/7, but the ability to answer questions about your business, for you to be, domain experts. So when they come to your salon and they ask about a product, being able to generate a response quickly and accurately based on information that you feed it from your website or whatever it is, those are going to become expectations for your customers. They know the power. And so, the idea of just doing an automatic transaction or answering FAQs is not going to be enough. And this is scary for a lot of small businesses because they don't really understand how to apply generative AI or AI more broadly to their business to automate questions. But it's coming, and you need to be aware of it, and you need to plan for it. Again, and I think that these next few points really just talk to how businesses in general are planning to implement AI. The most common use case is in customer service, being able to answer questions, resolve issues, check order status, all of those things, which are kind of transactional now, will become more prevalent in a conversational way for businesses. If you're not part of that 40% investing, then you're going to be missing out. And I think, again, this last point, I think speaks specifically to small businesses, is there's this kind of fear of missing out. They see technology, they see it working for other businesses, they see how it's improving customer service for them. It's giving them the ability to answer questions 24/7. It's giving them the ability to free up real people so they're not answering the same questions. And specifically in a small business segment, there's a risk of missing out. If you aren't deploying, if you aren't investing, if you aren't even just testing some form of AI, some form of intelligence in at least one of these use cases, in a sales use case and a marketing use case, or likely more practically in a customer service use case, then you're going to be left behind. And so I don't want to kind of give you the false idea that every business now is jumping into the AI space and hiring data scientists and training their own models. But they are looking at tools that enable them to take advantage of the technology, that make it easier for them to deploy. It makes it easier for them to implement, so they can understand a little bit more, what it's all about, so they can, deliver better solutions, better service, so they can meet their customers where they are. All right. So we will have some time here. I just wanted to kind of have a couple more slides just to leave you with some things, some key learnings and conclusions here that hopefully I supported in the presentation. I think the first one is this need for businesses to be ready when the customer reaches out. We call that, to be ready in the moments that count. So when they're searching for a business like yours, or when they have a problem that your business solves, when they have a question, businesses need to be ready, and they need to be in those channels that those customers are in, that they're not pushing them to a different channel to get an answer or to complete the process. The second thing that I hope you guys take away from all this is the customer isn't going to wait. Store hours, we'll get back to you in a couple of days or when we have time, doesn't cut it. If they don't get an answer in some cases as quickly as immediately, or more generally as in next day, or as soon as somebody is free, they're going to move on. So finding a way to respond quickly is imperative. You can find new customers through messaging. I think there's a real opportunity because it's a massive channel. There's a massive amount of users in social, on Google search, that you have an opportunity now to find new customers there. You don't have to spend time answering the same questions over and over again. Automation allows you to do that. There is a kind of spectrum of intelligence. You can do this in a very scripted way, or you can do this in a very kind of powerful AI way. But ultimately, the technology exists and the tools are there for you that are relatively easy for you to use, or to have a company like mine use for you or develop for you, where you're not going to spend time, repeating yourselves. You're not going to spend time answering the same questions over and over again. I think we've established that messaging is better than waiting on hold, navigating an IVR. I think the idea of a phone call is still important for a lot of businesses and still important for a lot of use cases. Certain demos, specifically youth, don't like picking up the phone. They're afraid to call people and talk in real life. Or again, they don't want to waste their time. So messaging is the preferred way. You need to keep up with the ways customers are contacting you. It's not okay to, just be in some places and not in others. Your competition is absolutely in all of these channels and responding. So you need to find a way to keep up with those. And then as new channels become available, there are things that you're probably going to need to support and think hard about how you do that. Nothing beats being able to instantly message anytime, any place. Again, this is that macro trend where we're living in an always on-demand world. And as a business who is looking to respond to customers, then you need to take that kind of seriously. And then the last point, again, is just more of a general nudge around the importance of getting back to people in time. This speaks obviously to some previous points, but I thought this was important to kind of leave it where, even if you don't automate, even if you don't add live chat solutions because you don't have enough people, it's really, really important to acknowledge your customers aren't going to wait, and you need to get back to them in time. Okay, so my last slide here, I just wanted to kind of land on the reasons why this works, why customers prefer messaging. These are the obviously things that I think we've touched upon a lot through the presentation. But the convenience is the biggest thing. These are the channels that customers they're talking to their families and friends. They are able to do it on their own time and on their own terms. They can be doing other things while they're messaging. So it's obviously a very convenient channel for them. The fastness, again, if you are struggling to get back to people, messaging is a great way to do that. You can do it on the go, on your phone, a quick text or a reply, or automating. I mean, that's how you really address the quickness and the fast part of it, and the personalized piece of it, right? So when you're messaging somebody, you can personalize the conversation. So we didn't talk a lot about that in the examples because it's really not kind of a shift in how people want to be communicate with your business, but it's something that messaging enables you to do. It's always important. It's always been important to personalize your communication, and messaging makes it easy for you to do that. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. I am going to just leave. I'm going to kind of park on this slide here with my contact information. And I will offer anybody who is interested, if they want to know how this looks, send me a note. Just, you know, do it in Durham in the subject line, and include a link to your website. And we'll build you a generative AI chatbot, including live chat. We'll set it up for you. We'll just show you how this all works. There's no obligation. We'll do it for free. This is something that we obviously charge customers for, but we'll set it up for free just so you can see how it looks. If you're, you know, obviously if you're interested, you can have it. If you're not interested, you can still have the live chat solution for free. We'll set that up for you. And you can add that to your website. That's, you know, that's always free with our solution. So if you are interested in just live chat, we'll set that up for you as well. But for, you know, for the privilege of your, you know, your presence today, I want to thank you by offering you to set this up. And again, it just gives you an idea of what this can look like for your customers, and how technology can help automate a lot of the types of questions that you are likely to receive. So again, offer stands. I'll land on that, and that's the end of my presentation. So we have some time. Marlon, I'm not sure if, I know there's some stuff in the chat. Do you want me to just go through that, or do you you know, want to kind of open it up to other people?
No, I think we're going to open up. I think there was only one that was in the chat, and it was how can you use a chat to introduce yourself and your business? I think that was one question.
Okay. Right. How do you set that up on Google? Okay, there's the Google question.
And there's a Google one as well.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay. Can you use the chat to introduce yourself and your business? So yes. So yes. I mean, again, I'm not sure if that question was that question was from you, Marlon, to other people, and is that right, to introduce?
Yeah, that was just for them to introduce themselves if they wanted to each other. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I guess I'll just answer this question about how do you set that up on Google. So again, Google you can do live chat directly on Google. So in your Google My Business, you can select the messaging option there, and that gives you the live option. If you want to automate part of that, you need a partner like us. So Google requires to be able to, it's called Google Business Messages. There's a bunch of partners that are integrated and that can provide you with that solution. Massively is one of them. I would love it if we could set that up for you. But if you want to just do the live chat on your own with what they call conversation starters, you can set that up on your in your own Google My Business profile. So hopefully that answered your question. And some of the conversational starters part of that is automated. It's not AI powered, and it doesn't give you kind of some of the rich elements, but you can kind of give the user some buttons that they can click to get more information, and then ultimately to talk to a real person.
And I think there's Brian that just put a question in there as well.
Okay. Companies having to designate staff members to respond. What are the expectations since operations or offers? Yeah, so that's a great question. I think at the very least, you should set an expectation for when the customer is going to get a response. It is okay to say, yeah, we're not available right now. That's okay, as long as you set a clear expectation. In most cases, that is, you know, we'll get back to you within a window. And you know, that's you know, obviously if a customer needs an answer now, waiting until the next business day may not be ideal. But in you know, and again, understanding the realities of small businesses, you're not there all the time. If it's something you can't automate, if you can't answer through a bot, and they need to talk to a real person and a real person isn't available, set an expectation and collect their information. So in our case, how our technology works is we detect if somebody's available. So we'll know if you're logged into the platform. The platform says what your office hours are, clearly communicates that, and clearly communicates that you're online or that you're not online. If they want to talk to a real person and you're online, we'll trigger your your live chat so you can jump into a conversation. We'll notify you of that. If you're not online or if it's outside of that, then it's just a contact. We'll collect information about the user. So their name, potentially the message they have, and their preferred, do they want to call back? Do they want an email back? So all of that stuff. And again, I wasn't here obviously to pitch our solution, but we do have both a self-service and a managed service solution. So if you are building your own, you can, just go to Massively, the link there, the self-service URL is the mat.massively.ai. When you're setting up your live chat, you just toggle that on, and then there's a contact flow for when you're not available, and it just, you just click the information you want to collect from the user. So it could be their name, their email, their phone number, and the message. You just check those bots. So if you're not those blocks, when you're not available, we will automatically collect that. We will send it to an email. We will send it to your CRM. And we will send you an SMS to say, hey, you have a new contact. Here's their information. Here's their question. Get back to them when you can.
Okay,
All right.
I think that was all the questions.
Okay, is that all for questions? All right. All right, that's all I have. So with that, I will thank everybody for their time. And I have made my presentation shareable, or it will be shareable. So if you want to kind of go back and reference anything, if we have questions, if you just are simply looking for more information about what's happening in the space. Like I said, we've been doing this for going on 10 years. We launched in 2014. So we've ridden the kind of the automation and chat kind of hype cycle a few different times. This generative AI component has us really excited. It has businesses like yours really interested in how it can apply to them. And we have I think tools that make it really easy. And again, it's super affordable. The live chat is free. Generative AI solutions start at $39. So again, it's a really affordable solution for most small businesses. And as I mentioned, we can set that up for you for free.
Yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate you being available to share your presentation with us today. I'm sure everyone is still as AI is so new for a lot of people that it's probably going to take a little while, but it's like everything else that's digital. Within a year or so, small businesses realize they have to do it whether they want to or not, because it just changed the landscape. So it's good to keep us aware of the technology that's out there, if we're not ready to implement it just yet, so that we know what's going to be coming down the pipeline as time goes on, because we know technology changes the way we do businesses from time to time.
Right. And I didn't want to get too deep into the technology. I think it's less about how it works and more about what companies can do with it. And I think, again, automating answers, automating certain processes like booking appointments or generating quotes or, order lookups. There's no real technology with most of those use cases. It doesn't matter how it's done. It's just, the idea is that you can do it.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Any last minute questions from anyone else? Everyone is good? Okay. All right. I'm going to assume that everyone is good. I mean, we are going to have the video. So that will be on the YouTube channel probably in the next week or so. It's going to take some time for them to set it up. So that would be one place to look if you want to go back and get a refresher.